NFR Extra is a weekly podcast that focuses on the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo and features icons that embody the rodeo and Western lifestyle.
And it really was, if you ever had a guardian angel, he was there with us that night because, or her, him or her, whoever it is, because Scamper would normally be kind of scared of somebody. There's definitely some kind of connection. When you see a horse or know a horse, there's something there that you're like, okay, this is the deal for me. And I would say that, that was the case with the horses I picked and truly just being their friend and their buddy and their teammate. They were never a tool for me. I think those kind of horses, hey, I'm just going to make him my friend. He's going to be my buddy.
Howdy, this is Andy Seiler, and you are listening to NFR Extra.
When you talk about rodeo and you talk about accomplishments, often it's not just one individual, and in this instance, it is a 11-time champion barrel racing cowgirl, and most notably with her horse, Scamper. We're talking about Charmayne James. How are you today, Charmayne?
Great. How are you doing?
We're doing wonderful. Where are you right now?
I am in Boerne, Texas, just outside of San Antonio.
What takes you there?
It's just a great area. I would say probably the number one thing that brought us here was just the schools were really good for our two boys, Tyler and the younger one, Austin. Tony and I decided to kind of relocate here. It's been about 15 years now that we've been here just because the schools were really good. We had friends around here. It's just Boerne's just a really neat town, just a really cool town. And yet we're still close to the airport in San Antonio. So
what does day-to-day life look like there now?
Well, what I'm doing pretty much full-time, I'm a full-time mom. Tyler is 18 now. He's getting ready to go to college. He signed at Texas State to play baseball there. So he'll go there next year. So it's close to him leaving the nest. And then Austin is a freshman in high school. So, and he plays baseball, select baseball, travel ball, whatever, people know it as. But we travel a lot with baseball, kind of like people do for rodeo.
Yes.
And, it takes up a lot of time. I don't think I was home, but maybe 2 or 3 weekends this whole year. So, just taking care of the household. And also I do my schools full time. So I kind of manage all the entries for the schools and all the people, do the schedules. And I usually travel about once a month for school. So, just with holding the fort down here, helping take care of my parents, looking after them. They live here on our place and you can hear my dogs barking, wanting to go outside. So looking after them too.
So rodeo essentially was just a preconditioning spot for you to be ready to be a traveling baseball mom.
Yeah, right. It's kind of easy. You don't have to clean stalls when you get in at night and look for water and it's pretty easy just to find a Holiday Inn somewhere.
Perfect. Yeah.
At a baseball game. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's get to the rodeo side of it. And, with your championships, 10 of which came with one horse, Scamper. Tell us a little bit about Scamper.
Well, I think a lot of people know the story of Scamper. But those that don't, a little refresher, he was a horse. My dad had a commercial cattle feeding operation with about 15,000 head of cattle. And so we grew up, helping in the feedlot, weighing trucks and working in there, cleaning water troughs, working cattle, moving them, so on and so forth. And so Scamper was a horse in the feedlot. There was a cowboy, Ron Holland, that had Scamper, and Scamper was kind of known as an outlaw. He'd been through quite a few sale yards and several hands and different cowboys, and he kind of bucked everybody off. And he was just kind of an outlaw. And Ron got along with him really good, took his time, worked cattle on him, got him handling really good. Like he was like a Ferrari instead of, a dump truck. He handled really good. And the horse I had before Scamper, his name was Bardo. I was competing, going to amateur rodeos on Bardo, and he broke his leg. And so we went on a search for another horse, and somehow or another, God led me to Scamper, and it was just kind of a match made in heaven. Here was a fearless little girl, that got teamed up with this outlaw horse, and he just loved me from that very moment. Like I was not a threat, and so anyway, that's kind of how he came to be, and Scamper's just truly, unbelievable as far as speed, talent. Toughness. Oh my gosh. He definitely will go down in the books as Iron Horse, to live on that rodeo trail for, competed at the high level for 11 years. And he just every year stayed at the top of his game. He had surgery to remove a slap fracture out of his knee. And there's a lot of things that went on with him. He was absolutely Iron Horse. I dedicated my whole life to taking care of him, and, just would never have done it without him, but he loved it. He loved rodeo. He did great in Vegas, loved Vegas. I think the energy there was so good. Can kind of pick that up, just by the crowds, and definitely couldn't have won those 10 world championships without him.
Now, there's 11 titles total. You just mentioned 10 of those were with Scamper. What were the other horses that were going down the road with you during this? Or was Scamper just number one for those 10 years?
He was pretty much number one those 10 years. I bought a horse named Magic through a friend of mine, Larry Stevens. He was a barrel horse trainer. He was a jockey. He probably was one of the best, all-time trainers at the time. And so I bought this horse Magic, and Magic was really good in little bitty pins, and I had got him towards the end of Scamper's career. So I kind of had something to roll over to, because that was my livelihood, was rodeoing and competing. And, I had people tell me all the time, Charmayne, once Scamper's gone, you'll never make it again. You get one good horse and that's it. And, my whole livelihood was sponsors, and everything came from rodeo. So I had to kind of be thinking out ahead, because I knew I'd be retiring Scamper. And so I brought Magic along. He definitely wasn't Scamper, but he was really good. I was able to make it to the NFR after him. And that horse really taught me a lot, how to ride. He was just completely different style. He taught me how to ride, but that horse was just absolute perfect. The right timing for him. I competed on him at the NFR. And then I had a horse named Sloopy. I bought with a business partner. We bought him and made the NFR with him. And then I knew I was looking for, I just knew there was another horse out there somewhere. I ended up at a sale yard in Clovis, New Mexico. There was a horse in there. He was by Streak and Six, a world champion racehorse, and out of a Ladybug's Moon. And I know that doesn't mean anything, but the breeding was really good. Race bred horses, kind of known to run barrels. And so I went in the pen, and I looked at this horse, and he pinned his ears and he ran me out of the pen. And I was like, okay, there's one that can handle the road, that's tough. So I bought him, and he was rank. He would pin his ears. He'd go after you. He would try to kick you. And so, I think those kind of horses, hey, I'm just going to make him my friend. He's going to be my buddy. And so that horse, I ended up competing on him at the finals several times. One runner up one year, was in the top 5 a couple times with him. and finally won that world championship again in 2002 with Cruiser. And I ended up winning, a little over 800,000 with that horse. That horse was just a fun, amazing horse. What a great journey.
So it sounds like the horses that you like are the ones that nobody else does. Definitely kind of the outlaw trend.
I definitely have picked the ones that, I don't know. It's just like probably somebody picking their wife. Some of it is really good and some of it maybe not so good, but there's definitely some kind of connection when you see a horse or know a horse. There's something there that you're like, okay, this is the deal for me. And I would say that, that was the case with the horses I picked, and truly just being their friend and their buddy and their teammate. They were never a tool for me.
Yeah. That's impressive too. And, you talk about the connection like that. And of course there's one, everybody thinks about, you and Scamper and the bridleless run. That is a horrifying situation for most people on a horse that is that sort of a temperament, that sort of a speed and ability. And then to essentially lose control. That connection is what made it special.
Yeah. That connection saved us, diverted disaster. Yeah, for sure. The connection there and that just automatic instinct in me. It wasn't something that was probably necessarily trained in there. It was just automatic reaction to just stay calm, act like nothing happened.
And you're okay. Slow my heart rate down a little bit.
Now, how old were you when that happened though?
Let's see. I was in 85, so I would have been 15.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, wow.
And you talk about the energy too. This isn't something that happened in the practice pen, but the Thomas and Mack, like you said, the energy there where everybody is on top of you and screaming and cheering, and probably the gasp for the people that notice that happens. And it's like, that was essentially the recipe for a horrible train wreck.
Yeah. And when it was happening, I'm like, okay, it broke, but at the same time, I just kept thinking, well, just keep it picked up. At least I had the reins around his neck. And so just ride like you normally do. And, got through it just like, it was perfect. The run was perfect. And of course now coming out, you could just hear in the people in the alleyway, and everybody started to panic, when I headed out that alleyway, and Scamper almost caught another gear, and they tried closing a gate, and I barely squeezed through that opening. I just remember pulling back on those reins around his neck, and I was just like, whoa. And at the time back in the day at the NFR, they did not have a gate at the end. So basically when you went running up that tunnel, it was a long ways out, thank goodness. When you got to the end, basically you were just right out on the streets. Yeah. I could have went to Las Vegas Boulevard, honestly. Well, I probably would have never made it because, horses in metal shoes don't stand up very good on the blacktop. So anyway, I just knew I had to get him stopped. And I already had in my mind, if I don't get him stopped, I'm jumping off on the dirt pad at the top because I'm not riding him. I'm not riding him on the blacktop because we'll go down.
He can figure the rest out.
Every year, rodeo fans make their way to Las Vegas to immerse themselves in the Western lifestyle. For many, their NFR experience includes a trip or two to the Cowboy Channel Cowboy Christmas in search of more. More time with friends, more fashion, more entertainment, more choices, more autograph sessions, and more Vegas. The Cowboy Channel Cowboy Christmas, December 1st through 10th at the Las Vegas Convention Center, South Halls. Open daily from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's all here.
Yeah. And so anyway, as I was nearing the top, he was starting to slow down on his own, and, kind of just a little bit of a normal routine, just taking longer to get stopped. And my uncle, who was he was a horseshoer, but also was a jockey. He'd been around a lot of race horses. And so he's just that tough, gritty guy, used to handling, being around horses. And he knew what was happening because he was watching it on the TV monitor out back. And he came halfway down that alleyway. And for whatever reason, when he kind of ran alongside of him and grabbed those reins and kind of pulled him, kind of skidded with him a little bit, and at least just got his hands on the reins so that, if something did booger him once he got stopped, we had him. And it really was, if you ever had a guardian angel, he was there with us that night because, or her, him or her, whoever it is, because Scamper would normally be kind of scared of somebody kind of dragging along the side of him. And he, for whatever reason, he took it and we got stopped, and they came and they're like, Charmayne, get on the victory lap horse. You won the go round. And I was like, no, it was direct. I didn't win it. And they're like, no, get on the victory lap horse. You won it. And I kind of laughed. I was like, yeah, right. And they're like, get on and go. They're waiting for you. The rodeo, the rodeo's got to be run on time. It's one of the fastest run rodeos, right? So they were kind of mad at this point. So I get on and go. I couldn't believe it.
Talk about a moment of just adrenaline rush.
Oh my gosh.
This all just goes down in a matter of probably what was like 30 seconds, a minute max, but it felt like
an
forever,
hour. Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
and then,
right.
Hey guys, let's go get on the black horse. Like, you got to make your victory lap. Let's go. I can't even. And at 15 years old, I think a lot of people forget those that are running at the Thomas and Mack now have to be 18 to even have their card. You were experiencing this at 15 years old before even, you could drive yourself in your own vehicle, and to be able to be calm and collected and just let that happen and ride out is just crazy. I didn't realize you were so young.
That was just a gift. That was just truly a gift from God. I think that's probably why I get along with a lot of horses, is just a little bit of just that calm nature anyway, and when you're younger, you haven't seen all the wrecks that can actually happen. Yeah. But I think that, even if you're a Ettbauer brother and, you've seen somebody get hung up and drugged, it doesn't faze them when something happens with them. You just, at the moment, you react to whatever you feel like you need to do, is the right move. So that's kind of instinct more than anything.
As a champion, I have a kind of offbeat question, but do you think your personality is a very calm and collective, or are you very, direct, go at it, keep going, keep moving personality?
I would probably say it's probably a mixture of both. I feel like you got to be real balanced. You got to kind of have it all. And so, when you need to turn it up and dial it up and work harder, you've got that. But if you need to, chill out a little bit, you can do that too.
You look at 11 championships, and that's something, most people in any discipline, any sport, anything, one-time champion is sufficient. You can hang your hat on that. What drives you, or what drove you, and how did you maintain such a competitive edge for so long?
Well, originally, when I grew up in that feedlot, my dad made us work for our money. He made us go out and work for everything we had, right? So if we had feedlot calves that we took and sold, that was our money. So, even though I was young, I was still already learning, like, you have to kind of pay your way. And even when I started rodeoing in 1984, that first year, I started out not doing that well. Just wasn't winning as much as I should. And, my dad sat down and he's like, hey, you need to win. Your mother's away from home. Everybody's sacrificing for you to go. If you're not winning, there's no point going. I was like, well, right, exactly. So I already had that in my mind that, I needed to kind of make my way. And I remember looking in a WPRA news and seeing Sherry Elms was leading the world. She had won like $15,000. And I was like, well, that's a lot of money. I could buy a pickup with that, so kind of already understanding, that you had to make money. Now, maybe at the time I didn't realize how much money it was going to cost to rodeo with trucks and trailers and entry fees and, all your entry fees. And it costs a lot to go down the road. So I think originally I did it. I was like, it was something I loved, something I was good at. I knew horses and it was just fun. Like, I just loved it. Just ate it up. I didn't know any other way of life. It was, complete, absolute livelihood. just winning and maybe even a game a little bit of just because it wasn't just about competing in the arena. It was a game of finding the best horseshoers, finding the best people to help you, the right feed, the right supplements, all the right tools that give you that edge. So, some of it was good, some of it wasn't, but ultimately, it goes kind of beyond that 15 seconds in the arena.
For the championships, once you start winning, once you become a champion and a multi-time champion, you probably absorb the fact that, okay, I'm a champion. People say champion. Now with the word icon, has that really settled in to where people start recognizing Charmayne James an icon?
Yeah, I just never really thought of it that way. Trying to be a humble person, and I don't know. It's just such an honor, and it's just love Las Vegas and all the support, you got from Las Vegas and the rodeo people over the years. So many people there are your friends and still friends today. And it's just really an honor. And maybe it really hasn't set in yet, but it's just super cool. And to go with Ty and Trevor, they're my friends, they're my buddies, they're great family people, love their families. What a cool, just amazing honor.
What does the Thomas and Mack mean to you? I mean, when you get to Las Vegas and you get to that building, what is the feeling like when you walk into it, being that you have competed and won so much?
Oh, if I see a picture of the Thomas and Mack, if I see, a basketball game at UNLV, it just brings back so many memories and just such a great place. Like just going and competing and winning there so much. Like, it was just like, wow, there was a lot happened in that building. So when I see it, it's just brings back so many good memories. And there were times I went there and didn't do as well, but boy, those were such learning opportunities to grow and to get better and to help me when I had Cruiser. Las Vegas, UNLV, all the people who went into it, Las Vegas events, just the rodeo secretaries, the press around rodeo was just such a great experience.
Absolutely. Your name is about to be hung from the rafters in this building. And it is something our team and Las Vegas is looking so forward to, taking that time to recognize these, 3 icons that have truly paved the way in part of the history of coming to Las Vegas and the growth that will continue. Then we get to go to a luncheon to celebrate you and your 2, I don't know what the best word would be.
Icons,
yeah. I mean, in the perspective, what are you most looking forward to throughout that duration or out that moment?
Oh, wow. I don't know that I could necessarily pick out one particular thing, but, to be right there with Ty and Trevor would be amazing.
I hope you make sure to take that extra minute since they rushed you in the victory lap when you get to go to the dirt, though.
Right. Yes, I will. I will take the extra time for sure.
Get an extra couple waves in there, when you accept it with that big, beautiful bronze that's going to be in your hand.
I might be the happiest person there. Like, you're going to see me smiling from ear to ear. Like, it's just going to be just most amazing moment for me. I can already tell you that right now.
Do you think there will be a tear?
I don't know. Sometimes that just hits you in different ways. Yes, maybe. I don't know, but I know that I'm already happy. So I already know that at that very moment, I'm just going to be ecstatic.
Well, we look forward to having you here in Las Vegas and presenting you with this incredible opportunity and award. And thank you for all that you've done for the sport and for the generations to come and being a role model icon for generations to come. So Charmayne, thank you for your time today, and we look forward to seeing you in Las Vegas.
Thank you.
Want to experience more of the NFR? Then visit NFRexperience.com, and we invite you to subscribe to NFR Extra on Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and wherever you're listening right now. If you like what you've heard on NFR Extra, we would love it if you gave us a 5-star rating and tell your friends how to subscribe.